Hey all, Chris Bassett here, and I'm playing a little Marvel Rivals. This is a beginner's guide for Captain America, so let's get straight into it. Yeah, Cappy! Slapping with Cap'n. So, Captain America's abilities, we'll talk about the Sentinel Strike. So you get up close to enemies, strike them, landing a second hit enables shield throw that can ricochet up to 4 times. We'll go to the practice range here in a second and we'll demonstrate some of this, but this is your primary attack. I've got mine set up to the RT. Pretty easy. It's got short range, so you got to get up in the face. Once you hit those 2, though, you can throw the shield, and you can see underneath your reticle there's like a 5-second countdown that shows how many hits are left. It's also in the lower left-hand corner next to the Captain America image. It says 0 out of 4 now, but once you get the 2 melee, 1, 2, then you can throw the shield 4 times and it counts down. Freedom Charge. Shield held high, carve a path forward, granting both himself and allies along the path continuous bonus health and movement boosts. Use Living Legend or Leading Dash while this ability is active to launch enemies. So, pretty self-explanatory. You know, you do your super, you get a overshield, and then a movement boost. You can see that trail on the ground. Enemies that follow behind you get those bonuses as well. Super good ult for being offensive. Be offensive. So go on the offense, get in the backline's face, smack those healers around. Leading dash. So on default, you have to hold this button down, but there's a settings option that I prefer. I'll show you that in the practice range. That's click to hold. So you tap it once, and then you're sprinting indefinitely. So it's basically just a full auto sprint all the time. Pretty good movement attack. I recommend having it all the time. Your Vibranium Energy Saw. Hurl the energy charged disc shield to strike enemies in a path. So I've got this set to my RB button, and it's a ranged attack, and then it bounces off multiple enemies. The initial hit, I think, does like 70 damage, and each subsequent hit does 30 damage. So really effective when the enemies are all grouped up. Hit them with the energy saw, you get some collateral damage. Liberty Rush, set this to my RB button. Raise the shield and dash forward. This move is good for closing the gap. You know, Cap has a short-range melee attack with those first 2 hits, so if you need to close the gap or get out of a situation, I primarily use this for mobility. Obviously, it's a mobility movement, Chris, but to get out of a fight. So I'd like to use the Super Soldier Slam to engage a fight, where you jump in on the enemy backline and then slap, you know, it stuns them, knocks them up a second, and then you can engage with melee and then get out with that Liberty Rush dash. But the Super Soldier Slam down to the sky in a targeted area, launching enemies up. We'll do that in the practice range as well. Living Legend. So you raise the shield to deflect incoming projectiles, sending them ricocheting in random directions. So it is random, but you can affect where the projectiles reflect to by centering your reticle. So if you center your reticle at the opponent or at a different opponent, it'll have a chance to reflect in that direction. The closer you are also makes a big difference. I jumped in front of a Punisher turret face to face, and I killed him almost instantly. So the closer distance you are to the opponent, the more likely you'll hit them with a reflected projectile. And then your team-up abilities, Charged Aegis. Thor infuses Storm Force into Captain America, granting them electrifying enhancement. Captain America gains a movement boost, and his shield is imbued with thunder power. So if you can, get a buddy to play Thor with you, and you get some extra abilities. Pretty fun. You can see you get that ranged attack as a primary attack, and it has a 20-second cooldown. So definitely worth teaming up with Thor, because it makes Cap even more powerful than he already is. All right, so let's go into the practice range, and we'll demonstrate some of these abilities real quick, and then I'll go over the settings as well. Practice range. I'm practicing. All right, so Cap can be found in the upper left-hand corner. Left hand. There he is. Select him.
If we don't stand up for what's right.
So this is your normal run speed. Pretty slow. And activate the sprinting. to sprint, and I recommend keeping that on full time. So I do like to start off by going into the settings. I play on controller, and then to combat, and then you want to change your hero to Captain America. If you scroll down a little bit, there's a few things. So you can hold. I prefer the hold the shield button. So I have my shield button set to the LT trigger. That way I hold it in, and then when I release it, it puts the shield down. It feels more natural as opposed to like clicking to hold. So hold to raise the shield, and then I have the hold to dash off. So it's you can toggle it, right? So you can see, you just press it once. I have it set to X. Press it, and then it's on all the time, and I no longer have to. I can sprint while I'm not holding one less button. I do notice there are some times it resets itself, like if you get crowd controlled in certain situations, like the Mantis sleep, will reset that. So you may occasionally have to, tap the X button again to re-engage the sprinting. What were some of the other settings? Just have the regular attack set to RT and my shield set to LT. So it just feels more natural that way. So we'll go over like your melee attack, right? I have the RT trigger. You got to get pretty close to be within melee range. So
I'm a soldier. This is war. Obviously,
the first 2 hits, now you have 5 seconds that you can throw ranged attacks, right? And you have 4 of those. So that's pretty nice with Cap, is you jump in. The typical Captain America strategy would be to jump in, slam, 1, 2, and then the enemies would retreat or do whatever, and you got 5 seconds to use a ranged attack. So that, I don't think you can do the... Yeah, you can't do that slamming movement if you aren't sprinting, so you have to... abs, always be sprinting, but if you have it engaged, then you can do the super jump called Fearless Leap, and you can see that blue circle. It's actually like the shield indicates where you will land and knock the enemy up in the air. So that's your go-to engagement tool for most fights. And then I have the RB, which is the dash set. So these are both my movement tech is both on this side of my right side of the controller. But this the shield slam.
Hostile forces incoming.
What's the range on that? Is it even 10 meters? Yeah, I think it's about 10 meters. But you can see it barely does any health damage. So it barely took, I don't know, 1/10 of that guy's health off. So it's mainly used for closing the gap. Like, say the opponents are out of your range, you can close the gap on them and then hit them. But it's most effective for getting out of a fight. So you'd engage with the leap and then beat them up, and then you're like, uh-oh, my health, oh no. And then you dash back out into cover or back to your healer. You have your shield ability. We'll go over here and show you how that works. But the shield's really useful for closing the gap as well. If you are, you're out of range, you're like, I can't hit that guy, put your shield up, and now you can sprint. Whereas before, if you're trying to run in melee, you don't sprint. So you close the gap by keeping the shield up, then you can get in their face, and you can punch them. So the shield does have a 400 hit points. You can hit it 400 times. No, but so it has 400 hit points, and you can see it's smaller than the other tanks that do have a hit point shield, and you are also vulnerable to your legs being hit. So if somebody specifically targets your legs, you can get hit. But you can see over here on the left side of the screen, the shield does recharge over time at 50-point intervals, and it takes, how long was that, like 7 or 8 seconds? So keep that in mind. And then the closer you are to the enemy, the greater chance you will have of being successful at having the damage be reflected onto that enemy. Oh, if I could I reflect it back at that guy over there?
Enemy ahead.
Yeah, so my shield
Prepare
broke.
to engage.
But super useful tool for, you know, engaging and then getting out of a fight if enemies have potentially dangerous attacks, like their ultimate, like Iron Man shoots the blast down. You can reflect the Iron Man ult, or Hela. I was successful earlier today reflecting like multiple of her projectiles. So, and it's not just flying enemies, but, you know, any projectile. Keep in mind that since the health on the shield is pretty low, it will break pretty quick. Punisher does punish me if you don't, if you just stand there and let him shoot your shield. And then the other ability with the with the ranged attack is the shield throw. And so that's on an 8-second cooldown. It's nice if the enemies are just about dead or they're grouped up because it does reflect. So you aim it at one, it'll ricochet. I think it ricochets up to 2 times. What did that beginning thing say? A couple times it'll ricochet. So super useful. And then the ultimate ability, right? I have it set to L and R stick. Press the ultimate ability. You get a health boost and movement speed boost, damage boost. And so does your team. If the team runs, see how you have like stars, a red, white, and blue stripe on the ground. They follow in that path. They'll also get those bonuses. So yeah, so the basic gameplay loop for Cap would be to engage with either by pushing forward with the shield and then jumping, leaping. My cooldown was off. So do manage your cooldowns between the 2 movement techs. It's a 12-second cooldown. So you get into the back line, boop them out of the way, smack them, put pressure on the back line, and then you can get out and back to your healers. So you want to make sure that the healing supports are behind you. They're keeping an eye on you, but you do have enough health and enough movement and defensive abilities to hopefully 1v1 or hit some enemies supports. He's not really a main front tank. I would consider more Doctor Strange Magneto to kind of push in with a giant shield. So, but he's still great. I had a lot of fun with him. So if you want to see any gameplay, I've got some over on the channel. Check out the playlist, and I'll see you in the next one. I appreciate everybody for watching. Thanks. Later!